there, then everything's alright.
I want to ask you, just what inspired you to invite these teachers back and have them as, teachers again?
Well, sometimes, for the few that I worked with at the high school as cheerleaders, knowing them and bringing them back, you know their character and you know what they do. And it's just good. I'm a firm believer that people that work in their community have a little more extra stake in what they're doing. And so it's a little more special when you come back to a school that you're working in. And so to see that and bring it back, and for us at Price, this is almost a third of our staff, our students who came to school here. So I think that's a very special thing. They know the community, they know the school, they know the families, and that's something that new people can't, it's just a piece that they'll never have 100%, no matter how much they try to be involved. And so we have a true heart of people that really have a true love for this community because they came back, and I would have been foolish not to hire them all.
We're a family. Yeah. That's what it is.
That's right. We are a family. Price Pride.
Introduce myself. I am Stephen Murray. I went to school here also a long time ago, and I am with these C.H. Price alumni who have come back to Putnam County and decided to teach at the school that they originally started from. And I want to start from left to right and just introduce yourself and what you teach.
Hi, I'm Tracy Hornsby and I teach agriculture.
I'm Joni Carnes and I'm the Dean of Students.
Benita Coleman, 6th grade reading, language arts, and world cultures.
Hi, Ashley Thompson, 6th and 7th grade math.
Kim Berry, art and English language arts.
I'm Leah Lundy. I'm the principal. I was lucky enough to hire all of these people.
Russell Hayes, 7th grade civics, 8th grade U.S. history.
Carol Bogdan, 8th grade language arts.
I am Brittany Phillips. I teach 7th grade language arts.
All right. Sounds great, guys. So I'm just going to start with what do you remember most about being a student at Price? Or,
The dances were a lot different when we were students, and I'm saying that because we just had a dance, and all the kids stood in a big group, and I was like, wow, when we were here, we actually would dance, and we would have slow songs, and, it was a little bit different. The culture has changed a lot. And actually, the 6th grade hallway used to be where my class is now, which is now the 8th grade hallway, so that's a lot different. When I came to work here, I was like, oh my gosh, I teach 8th grade. Why am I in the 6th grade hallway? So...
There was more hairspray.
Yes. Way more hairspray. It's funny, some of the colors have come back though.
Yes.
The fluorescence and yeah.
Great. Anybody else remember anything? Just like kind of
Trying to figure out how many shoes Mr. Porch had.
I'm still questioning that.
I think his house is made of shoe boxes.
And Ben Hur, do you remember Ben Hur from Mr. Porch's class? He showed that movie every single year, Ben Hur.
It's coming back out.
I remember how tough Mr. Porches was.
I was in 6th grade when September 11th happened, and I was in Mr. Emery's class. And that was actually the classroom that I taught in my first year.
Oh,
so that was kind of a cool thing to share with him. Like, I was in this room when September 11th attacks happened. So.
Oh, you're just gonna be choked.
I know, me too.
Crazy.
Yeah.
When we were here, the 6th grade hallway, that's the 6th grade hallway now, was not here. That was built after we left. It's shocking.
And it wasn't as colorful.
No, it certainly wasn't green.
I know we already talked about it a little bit, but just to kind of go more in depth, what do you think has changed the most since you guys have been here? Just like if you had to pick one thing.
The students.
The culture, it's different, how we acted in high school, what we did, what we wore, and now seeing kids walking the same halls as us, but it's just like a whole different generation. I mean, it's kind of like being in a time warp or something. It's just surreal.
Like the problems that we had as middle schoolers are not the problems that middle schoolers have nowadays. I just feel like they're so much more mature in their issues. The things that they have to deal with as a 6th and 7th and 8th grader are not things I or even my friends even had to acknowledge when we were in middle school. So it's kind of a sad thing, but then it's kind of an eye-opener as a teacher, the things that you're combating when they come into the classroom.
It's things that have happened in the world and in other schools too. It's like we have lockers in our hallways, but they're all padlocked with the lock backwards and the kids don't even use them. So You know, that's a big difference.
And we loved our locker time.
Yes.
Their lockers were our life. That held our stuff.
And we could put pictures inside of it.
Yeah. Slip notes in.
Mirrors. We could put mirrors in the lockers.
Mirrors were the best.
Awesome. Okay, and to bring it back a little bit too, I want to know what kind of students you were whenever you were in school, and maybe what the teachers thought of you
The
while
best
you
students
were.
ever, right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Really though?
I was talkative. I was really talkative. I'm a talkative teacher though, so I haven't changed at all.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think I was somewhat of a perfectionist. Like, if I was in Miss Bishop's class and I didn't get that math problem right, I was crying. I was doing my homework at home crying, I don't get it! And I'd have to go talk to her the next day. Obviously, it got fixed, but I was very much an overachiever.
I'm gonna have to agree with Ashley. Like, I was very studious because both of my parents are in education, so I knew how important it was for me to succeed and for them to see me succeed. But there was this one little issue when I was in 8th grade where I had a bit of an attitude, and it was in a specific technology class. And I'm not real sure what happened that time of the year and that time of my life, but I think it was just very important for me to prove to myself and to my family that I wanted to be successful. So.
I'm sure that instructor forgives you.
Look at her, she's sorry.
It was his dad.
That's bad.
That's funny. I think I was a good student, but I wasn't an overachiever unless it was in the social department, probably.
No, she was. You were an AB student.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like I became more of a perfectionist. I think later on, you know, when things started, like, you know, later at, like after high school, probably even that's when I was like note card and everything, you know, and because I was paying for classes, and I was like, I gotta make sure I can't fail this. But I think I was very, very social in school. That's probably more. And I'm looking at
And we talked on the phone.
all the time.
It was the time when conference calling and call waiting first became available on residential lines, which turned like teenage girls into super detectives. You're like, I heard so-and-so was talking about you. Let's conference call, not let her know. So they were like really poorly planned sting operations.
Yeah. My mom called Joni the telephone queen because when we would talk on the phone, we were on the phone for hours and hours and hours. And actually, we did this a couple weeks ago. We were on the phone, and then all of a sudden I was like, I gotta go. And we got off the phone, and I looked down, and it was like, almost 2.5, 3 hours that I think we were on the phone.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, are we 15 again?
Yeah.
You know?
That's what working at a middle school did
Yeah.
to you.
So I think I was a social kiddo.
I was a straight A student. I was scared to not be, so I didn't have a choice. I didn't take B's home.
I was kind of just the shy little nerdy kid, and I knew that if I ever did anything wrong, my mother would find out about it.
Yeah.
And so I just chose not to do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And that's the safest way.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
I think back then we were all in such fear of what our parents would do as if we brought home a bad grade that we were just always on top of it. Made sure we did the right thing.
Sounds great. I can relate. And I think you guys kind of answered already, but were any of you like students at the same time while at Price?
Me, Brittany, and Rusty, I was 8th grade, 7th grade, 6th grade at one year. So we had seen each other on like dances and after school and crossing halls and stuff like that.
And Kim and Joni and myself were all here as 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders, and then we went to the high school together, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and
And
graduated.
we did activities together and everything. We went
Pop
through
Warner.
FFA, Pop Warner, all of that together.
Cheerleading. High school cheerleading.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we were cheerleaders.
I was actually the Ram mascot one year too. So yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And you know who our cheerleading coach was at the high school?
Oh my
She thought she
It's a very
was rid
small
of us.
circle.
Now, I would say one of the best questions is coming back to the school after you've been here for a while. Are you teaching with any of the teachers you had now, and how is that?
I sit with Miss Plum every day at luncheon. She was my science teacher. So it is so weird because, getting to know her as now a coworker and a friend, she's like a mother figure. I love her to death.
Mm-hmm.
But going from that, to, where she used to be a teacher and, authority figure, really, it's very different.
Sure.
So, but she is so much more awesome as a friend.
I was gonna say she was pretty
Strict. She was very strict as a teacher, but she is awesome as a friend. So she always has very sound advice, and she's so sweet.
When I started here, there were 6 of my teachers here. Coach Belden and Miss Turner, who retired, Miss Parson, Miss Roach, Mr. Ridgard, and Miss Plim. They were all here when I was here, and it is pretty much the same as Carol said, getting to know them as a person outside of school and not that teacher, which is funny because that's how I want some kids to see us, is we're not just, a teacher, we're also mothers and fathers, or soon to be mothers and fathers, and we have other things that we like to do besides, lesson plans and stuff like that.
I don't think
Not that we really like to do those things, but we have to do them.
there is no one left that we were here with.
Miss Canals and Miss
That's what I
Koenig.
just started to say. Miss Canals and Miss Koenig were here, but we lost ours last year to retirement. So it was Belton
But it
and
is
Miss
kind of
Turner,
different
so.
because it's weird because I've worked at the other schools and having worked with them and everything, they and call them by name versus their last name. It's different. It's kind of weird, and it's more of a habit.
It's almost hard to do.
I don't think I
Nancy
can.
and Miss Turner.
I still say Miss Plim to Miss
And they'll
Plim.
get on to you, and it's like, well, sorry, but that's just who you are to me. You'll always be Miss Turner.
I know Pam Bass taught here for years, and then she went to the elementary school and then over to QI Roberts when it opened. And I originally taught over there my first year, and even though I had taught prior to that, I hadn't taught middle school. So she was my 6th grade math teacher, and they assigned her as my mentor teacher over there, which was really cool because you kind of get to learn from them in a different way still, So it's like, it was really neat. And then her and I became such good friends too. I actually call her Pam now.
It's awesome. Another thing that I would like to know is what was the funniest thing or weirdest thing that happened to you whenever you were a student here, going back? If you can think of anything, I know it's kind of far back.
I've got one, and I don't know if anybody can follow this one. But in 8th grade, I wore these amazing pants with lots of buttons on them. And I went to get up out of the desk, and one of the buttons got caught in the desk of the arm of the desk. And I couldn't get out, and I tried to get up, and I pulled the desk with me. And then one of my good friends came over and said, "Are you stuck?" And I said, "You think?" And then he ended up having to pull the button off of my pants, and I had a hole in my pants for the rest of the day. So, anyone else?
Well, I don't. We might want to edit this one. I don't know. My first kiss was in front of the 8th grade hallway.
Don't edit that.
That's awesome.
Unfortunately, it wasn't the last kiss. There's a lot of other kids that are getting their first kiss.
I'm just turning my head.
Another one for potential editing, sorry. But I can remember just the awkwardness and the uncomfortable of the teenage years and spending way too much time worrying about hair and makeup and your clothes and being a little uncomfortable that some of my friends were physically maturing faster than I was. And so I convinced my mom to buy me this really great padded bra. And I just rocked it one day like nobody was going to notice. Like last night, I just grew boobs. Out of nowhere.
Middle school was awkward. It was very awkward.
It was. I remember in the locker room they had bathrooms. I haven't been in a locker room since I've been here too, by the way. So this is my 4th year.
It
I've
looks
not
almost
been in a
exactly
locker
the
room.
same.
But they had bathrooms, and the 6th graders would have this long line because nobody wanted to dress out in front of anybody. So everybody would wait for the bathroom to dress out.
Yeah,
so we were always late for class. It was terrible.
We had to take fake showers. We didn't want to take I don't know if you did that or not, but Miss Tompkins made us take showers, and we had to take fake showers.
It was
like, oh my gosh.
We were like wrapping
That was
up
strange.
and hiding, and it was awkward. Very awkward.
Well then. To wrap things up, guys, and your students and many other kids are going to be watching this, like what advice would you give to middle school students just with your past experiences?
Don't give up.
And I would say you can always come home.
And get involved. The after, all the clubs and everything that's available, absolutely get involved.
And confide in your teachers. If you don't have anyone to talk to, always know that they're there for you. And they'll help you in any way.
My biggest thing that I like to tell my students is don't make excuses. I'm from Putnam County. I'm from a poor county. My parents
We're from Putnam County.
My parents aren't involved, or we don't have any money. And I always try to tell my kids, no matter what it is, like you can succeed. And it sounds so corny and generic, especially coming from a teacher. But there really is no reason, and there really is no obstacle that should prevent you from getting what you want and where you want. Whether it's to stay in Putnam County and be a teacher, whether it's to go off and never look back, like you shouldn't make an excuse. If there's something that you want, you should just go for it and not let anything hold you back.
And I always try to tell them it won't be like this for long. Like whether it's good or bad, if it's good, enjoy it because it's not going to be like this for long. I mean, pretty soon you're going to be in high school in real life and it's going to get harder. But if life's really bad for you right now and middle school is horrible, it's still not going to be like this for long.
This too shall pass.
Yeah, this too shall pass. So you'll get through it.
Awesome. Guys, I'd like to thank you so much for your time and coming down here and like getting together. I know this is kind of like a rare opportunity. Does anybody have any last thing they'd like to say or feel pretty good?
Price rocks.
Love it.
Guys,
I just wanted to say real quick, sorry I didn't mean to interrupt, but I don't know if y'all remember Miss Davis, who taught here
Shirley
language
Davis.
arts. She's the one that instilled the love of language arts for me, and I just loved her. And I ran into her probably 3 weeks ago at the grocery store, and she just hugged my neck, and we had the longest conversation. And I told her I was here, and she was like, "Oh," she was a really great teacher to me, and made a huge impact on me. So that was special.
She was great that like a flustered day for her. If she was stressed out, it just meant that like one of her hairs was out of place.
Yeah. She was very put together.
Yes. She's a classic lady, yes.
Guys, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.